Internet strategies and document applications. See how ecoutlook.com is helping businesses to launch their internet strategies in weeks rather than months, extending web-based storefronts directly to customers. But first, we'll show you how Document Solutions by ISIS are supporting basic business processes, including customer care, relationship management, correspondence, and more, while helping companies put their best feet forward. From technological breakthroughs to innovative business strategies, from manufacturing to e-commerce, from telecommunications to the home computer, on World Business Review with Caspar Weinberger.
Welcome to World Business Review. I'm Caspar Weinberger, and on this segment we're going to talk about large-scale document applications that support fundamental business processes such as billing, customer relations management, credit card processing, customer correspondence, and more. And joining me for this discussion today are Max and Anna Marie Pucher. Max is CEO of the ISIS Group, and Anna Marie is Vice President of Marketing and Finance and Sales at ISIS. Welcome to both of you. We're delighted to have you here. Max, how would you define this term document applications? What are those?
We are talking about the business documents that a large corporation needs to communicate with its customers. The complexity there is typically that they need to get their business data mapped into those business documents in a very individual and personalized manner nowadays to communicate with the customers well. This is really what we're all about.
What sort of volume are we talking about here, and how does your software handle that?
Well, we have customers that have the need to do like 2 million documents a night. So we are required to produce several 100,000 pages per hour of processing time. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to do that.
100,000?
Yes.
Anna Marie, what basically is the reason why the document applications, which seem to do little more than just print, can be so complex? Why isn't it just like a rubber stamp over and over again?
Right. Well, in the past they were very static, but today, because people have a computer at home and they make most beautiful documents at home, they need to have much more, much better business documents from the different...
Sort of an individualized one, I suppose, different for each customer, but the same basic message.
Right, and they need to have color included and charts and marketing messages in the documents.
Well, for a closer look at how this technology is helping businesses make favorable impressions in the marketplace, here is World Business Review's John Glenn with this report from Omaha, Nebraska.
First Data Resources is the largest credit card processor in the world, with an annual production capacity of over 300 million cards. First Data started using the ISIS Papyrus software to create a first-of-its-kind, state-of-the-art solution to meet its customer needs.
What the ISIS Papyrus solution has allowed us to do is really move from the card carrier and our letters from being just a communication method that our clients were using to communicate to their cardholders to a marketing solution where they can now, market and generate additional revenue.
Here's an example of how the ISIS Papyrus software allows First Data to customize its product. Using the new card carrier, it allows clients to literally customize their marketing message to any group, using ads and promos on the carrier itself. First Data combined the ISIS Papyrus software for documentation composition with Bowie Systech, which puts the documentation together, and also with Xerox for printing.
Actually, in the solution that we provided with the 3 vendors, and specifically probably ISIS, we delivered it very quickly in an 8-month time frame. We partnered with a couple of our clients in the delivery of that, and it has enabled them to really move into the marketplace very quickly with the solution and get out there before their competition is with the same type of solution.
ISIS is providing fast solutions with a competitive advantage. For World Business Review in Omaha, I'm John Glenn.
Well, now the volume, of course, of this is pretty staggering, and you not only do the billing, but you can get the insert that goes into the billing that promotes the company and helps market the company on the scale of, you said a couple million sometimes a night and,
yes.
and several 100,000 an hour. That's better than the government printing office can do. Is there any printing aspect involved in it, or does your software simply establish the framework through which the printing is done?
I think the key is that our customers have the requirement to drive a number of different printing technologies with that. And you heard at FDR they are using also black and white and color printing.
Yes.
So this is really one of the key advantages of such a solution, to be able to drive both from one type of software package.
I see. Different printer vendors, of course, use very different printing technologies for black and white, spot color, the whole process of true color printing. Wouldn't it really be best for a company to use a specialized software product for each of these areas? Yours combines them all, but when you do that, do you lose any of the quality?
Well, ideally, companies try to achieve the most with their document quality. So using a specialized publishing package seems to be advantage. But effectively, most of these companies have a large volume requirement, as we just said, and they also have a time requirement. So they need to get these applications out as fast as possible. And we focused on making color and black and white and high resolution available in a very easy and fast turnaround
and
tool.
a single software. So
Yes, with a single package, single training for all these different printing technologies.
Is there quite a market for this, Anna Marie, or is this a
Certainly.
demand for this?
We serve a worldwide market, and our customers are large corporations, banks, insurances,
All over the world?
all over the world, as far as Japan.
You don't have any troubles with language barriers or anything
Not
like
at
that?
all. We support all the languages, even Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Arabic, Hebrew,
Lord.
and certainly all the European.
Better than
and-
Berlitz. For another look at the software solutions that are being discussed here, we have this report from the Mutual Group of Canada.
Clarica is a Canadian-based investment and insurance firm with more than 2 million clients in North America. With account statements, benefit checks, and company notices, that amounts to more than 60 million printed pages to mail out each year, almost all of them personal and confidential. That's where the ISIS software Papyrus came in.
We probably print around 15 million pages a year from Papyrus, and we've had no problems with it at all. And to be able to do 1 million pie charts or 1 million bar charts, where your pie chart looks totally different and it's based on your data, those are important things that we feel that we need to provide in our statements to our customers.
Clarica was formerly the Mutual Life Assurance Company of Canada, founded in 1870. Today, it offers life insurance, savings and retirement investments, and employee benefit plans. With Papyrus, every document that's sent out is coded to ensure that it gets to the right person with the right information and in the right language.
The Papyrus tools have allowed us to send information and communicate with our customers, over 2 million of our customers, as individuals, because we know who they are and what their financial services and requirements are.
This is Ben Steinfeld reporting from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada for World Business Review.
Are there other companies beside these these credit card companies that require this sort of volume? I suppose insurance companies or public utilities that bill every month, something of that kind?
Telephone companies, certainly, they have very large volumes. We produce lots of telephone bills for these companies, mobile phone bills.
Now, each one of those, of course, has to be different,
Right,
but you have the same format.
right. They're very personalized. They have
Yeah.
marketing information
And
in
the
it.
software is flexible enough so that while it prints the same looking bill, the information is different in each one.
Exactly, it's one-to-one
And
documents.
it can still be done in that speed, in that volume.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do most enterprise resource planning solutions actually fulfill the need for quality business documents on the standard platforms? Do you have any special need for additional quality that you can fulfill?
Well, what we can see nowadays is that these types of solutions focus on the data content, but not so much on the look and feel and the layout of such a output from these systems. So we do install quite a number of software packages added on to these enterprise resource planning solutions.
We do have a standard interface, so to SAP, for example, we work with PeopleSoft. These are the typical companies providing such systems.
Now, does the internet play a role here? Do you get any of the data from the internet that you need for your printing application for a particular company, or do you feed any of the data in through the internet to the company?
Well, the internet is a medium that simply has to be considered nowadays. What we find is that most companies have a requirement to utilize the internet as a transport medium for their business documents. And obviously we need to have sort of a gateway server that allows us to take these business documents that have been created with our software and either email them to a customer over the internet or allow them to access like a web server to look at their bill or their statement over the internet.
Yeah. A still huge volume of paper is required.
Yes.
15 years ago, we used to hear a great deal about the paperless office that was supposed to be just around the corner. Whatever happened to that? Was the corner too big?
Well, I think there's two things that went wrong. The one is that we expected too much from the technology at the time, and there was certainly misjudgment as how attached people are to paper. Most people really want to have a piece of paper if they want something for certain. They want it to hold it in their hands. So paper is not going to go away.
You have to have a permanent record for many things, tax purposes, regulatory purposes, and so on.
And it's a very human factor that communicating via paper is still much more effective than using like a terminal screen. Just look at the fact that the internet actually has fostered the sale of large number of desk-jet color printers rather than reducing the printing.
Yes. So Papyrus is still a good name for the, the software. Well, could we expect the internet or the intranet to make ultimately to lead this paperless office, or is the human desire to hold and touch something as well as the need to preserve records sufficiently strong to keep paper with us for some time?
Well, I do certainly believe that the internet is going to change the way we work and we live. That's definitely true. It will not do away with paper. It most probably will reduce the number of physical pieces of paper being sent by mail, but the customer still wants to be able at the very end of that to maybe print off his piece of paper to his desktop printer. And then you have the same problem that we addressed today, that you need to print the same document to a number of different printers.
Why does a Windows-based PC network basically not fulfill the document needs of these large corporations? Is it simply that it can't handle the volume?
That's one issue, certainly, because that platform would be for very small document amounts. But also it's not meant for business documents, you know, where you have to have longer life of documents, upward compatibility, and strategic layouting functionality.
But your customers, almost by definition, are very, very large companies with huge volumes required. And is there any application or any utilization that smaller companies or individuals could make of the system, or is it just more than they need?
Well, what we find is that obviously the large corporation has the volume requirement and the speed of development requirement. The smaller corporations may not have the volume, but to be able to do a high-quality business document in a short time is typically still a need. So we do sell actually our software also to smaller organizations.
You mentioned earlier that the current users of the product reduce their development time and their management expenses related to business documents by 80 to 90%. How is that measured? Is this if you actually make that kind of reduction in the billing process, or in the sending a monthly newsletter or something of that kind?
It's mainly because of the graphical user interface. In the past, you had to program these documents in a very complex way. Today, we have graphical design tools to develop such very beautiful statements. And also, the way we work is printer independent, platform independent. So the development is only done once, and then the document is printed to any printer in the network and on any platform. And this gives you big savings in time and money.
Can do that, yeah. What are the basic differences or gray areas among document management and print management, output management? Where do the business process management and the workflow fit? Are they a major aspect of this whole thing, or is it just a sort of a support service?
Well, business documents are in many cases the carrier of the business process. And when you now do business documents that, for example, needs to be signed off by a supervisor, you're talking about supporting a business process. So we do believe that print and output management and process management really relate together very closely, and we focus on integrating those requirements into one product.
But can you elaborate now on how you're able to provide a system, a software system that can work on several different kinds of platforms and at the same time produce the results that we've been talking about?
Well, the technical story behind it would be a long one because we have been developing our software for more than 10 years. But we actually had to think about it very much in the beginning when we designed the architecture for the system, how we would be able to give the customer a system that works totally compatible from like a Windows platform to a Unix machine to an OS 390 mainframe.
You could do all of yours.
Yes, we support all those platforms.
And I suppose it's obvious, but I would like to ask it anyway. Does the system work on any kind of paper? Do you need any special kinds of coated papers or anything different? Does it work on any paper that the client has?
Yes. It's typically any paper, typically a paper which a laser printer can work with.
And the applications of color are, of course, very interesting. And the first question you always ask with color is the quality. You talk about true colors, but even so, there are many newspapers now that are going to color work that is not really very high quality. You can get very high quality even with these huge volumes and huge speeds that you have.
Well, certainly the print speed with color is an issue. And obviously there is a very strong technology requirement in terms of processing power and functionality required in the printer. But we see new printing technology coming out all the time, but very much in terms of color quality. There are standards in the market that come from the publishing world that are utilized in this arena as well.
Does this require, or will it require any changes in your software to handle these different kinds of printing methods?
The changes were required, and we went through those changes last year.
Yeah.
We made our software full color compatible by the end of last year.
So you can't ever rest on your laurels. You've got to keep changing everything as the techniques keep changing.
Yes.
And is there any suggestion that any of this kind of software could ever be used in such things as book publishing or directories or catalogs or anything like that?
Parts catalogs, certainly.
Shopping catalogs?
Yes, shopping catalogs or parts catalogs, you know, where you have spare
And even
parts.
though they might have a regional aspect and require some different paging, you could still do it.
Right.
Well, it's about this time in the program that we start to look at the future. We've had some very interesting discussion of some amazing new developments here in the present. But what do you see looking down the road, maybe a couple of years from now? Anna Marie, what do you think will be new or different or better within that time frame?
I think color will be much more prominent.
Color, yeah.
Yes. True color, full color. In the past or even now, it's quite expensive to print high volumes with true color charts or pictures in business documents.
But the quality of the color can still be retained even with that volume.
Right, right. But now new printers are coming out, and even our system provides all the color functionality. And I think in future we will print most of the business documents in color.
Very good. Max, what are your thoughts about the next 2 or 3 years? What do you think they will hold that will be new, different, better, or possibly even worse?
I can actually, I think, add on to what I said before. From my perspective, being responsible for designing the architecture, I believe the integration aspect is, for the large corporation, one of the key issues. Yeah. They really look for simplification and for much better management for the business processes. And integrated output, print, and document management is, we believe, a very important factor.
So we'll be getting away from the multiple printers, different kinds of software, and compressing it all into one. Well, unfortunately, that does conclude our discussion of this very interesting topic. We are out of time. Max Pucher and Anna Marie Pucher, many thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.